Hello, Flosstube. Well, I've done a good warm-up. I filmed for like an hour and I realized I didn't have my microphone on. So here I am. This is going to be a lot faster than an hour, I'm sure, because I'm ready to go. So my stuff's all over the place. Hi, my name is Catherine. Welcome to my Flosstube. This is December 30th. So I just made it in under the wire. Hopefully you're watching this December. Most likely it's going to be the new year when you're seeing this. So welcome in. Gosh, gee, I've already talked about this all, so here I go again. My stuff's everywhere, but let's see, what can I talk about? Well, Christmas has been busy. December was busy. Really quick life update. I got my COVID booster. I got my flu shot. And then I had to rest. It kind of knocked me out a little bit for a day or two. Didn't do a lot of stitching during that time. My husband also had carpal tunnel surgery on his left hand after doing his right in the summer. So there was a recovery period for him, and things that he normally does, he wasn't able to do. So I did a lot of that. Gosh, just, you know, the holidays. We had family for Christmas Eve, and I decided to cook a turkey dinner. And I think next year I'm going to follow Steph and Pam's lead and do breakfast for dinner. I like that idea for New Year or for Christmas Eve. Okay, so I'm going to push in and join. I'm going to share my WIPs, my progress on things, and I have a couple finishes and plans. So let me start off by showing you my book of days. So this will be the last time I will show this one for this year. That's what my December looked like, and I had to fill out some things with some stickers, because there were just days I was had my head bowed down, focused in on doing some finishes for Christmas stitching, that I didn't actually, focus in and write down everything. But I feel like I stitched every day. So let me share a couple of my finishes. So small Christmas finishes. First of all, this is from the Brenda Keys Book of Days, not Book of Days. Okay, I had it. Oh, here it is. Because I've done this once, my stuff's everywhere. And the Ultimate Sampler Motif Book. I got this little design out of there, and I can't remember what pages it's on, but if you have it, you can flip through to the page with all the cute girls, and there's a little girl in a red dress. I did it in, I believe it's a Schoolhouse Red, and I used, oh, actually, no, that's Holly Berry by Belsois. I think it's Belsois. And I used Krynic for the gold. I usually like Petite Treasure Braid because it just works a little bit better, but I used the Krynic because it was available and easy, and there wasn't a lot of it. And I did a Katie Strachan kind of finish by adding some Swarovski crystals. Hi, Katie. If you're watching, Katie's gonna need a restraining order against me because I'm so, I'm a big fan, and I'm always talking about Katie and following everything she does. I made this little tassel, and this is a Von Pfeiffer tutorial on how to make the cord trim. You know what I'm talking about. The rope trim kind of thing, and I'm learning. It's not perfect, but my daughter loved it. This was a gift for her, and it kind of looks like her with her little brown eyes and sparkly personality. So that was one finish. This one I think I showed last time, but I don't know if I had it fully finished. I did this little Blackbird Sampler. It's from Sweet September was the chart. It's a mini stocking, so it went pretty quickly. There is quite a bit of stitching in it, and I changed colors. I just kind of grabbed really happy bright colors, and I finished it. I just whip stitched it together. It doesn't really open at the top, and I put these green beads on there, and I love it. It's my favorite. It's my favorite ornament on the tree now. Oh, I might have to leave it up in my sewing room all year, like hanging. or get some kind of cute display for those stockings, because you'll see there's more I want to do. Now this is a previous finish. I've never shared this. I've talked before that I was really into stump work, and I was really into needle lace. I was trying to learn how to do that, and I have a project that I'm going to pull out in January that it kind of reflects that. But this was a piece that I picked up an oak leaf. This was years ago, probably about 3 years ago, and I outlined it on some fabric, and I did needle lace, and it's been kind of hanging out in my sewing room. So I Katie Strachan did and put some gold around it and a little acorn on top and put felt on the back. It's not, oh boy, is that not perfect, but you know, it's a learning. I'm learning. And you can see it's kind of funky in some places where I tried to sew through and get that cording on there. But, you know, from a distance, and if you shake your head, it looks great. What else do I have? Oh, okay, so this is not cross stitch, but it's stitching, and it's only a moment, so don't panic. I'm not going to talk about quilting today. Not like you panic. Okay, so my daughter, I was at Ben Franklin Crafts, which has an incredible fabric selection if you're lucky, right? So you never know what you're going to find there. Our daughter is an artist and loves all the bright colors. She went to art school. She's really, really good. But she doesn't really sew. But she saw this fabric and she's like, I love this fabric. And I said, well, if you don't get it now, it may not be here in a couple of months. And then they don't reprint that fabric. So if you love it, get a couple of yards and you can stash it away, which she did. And then I felt kind of guilty, you know. I was like, oh, I made her buy this fabric. She's not really a seamstress. So I went back. I knew she wanted to make a purse out of it, but she's not really a sewer. I knew I would be like the one really helping her drive that train. So I went back and I got some of the fabric and I found a tutorial, which I will link below. It's a very good tutorial on YouTube. I had a pattern for a crossbody bag, but I could not figure it out. It was beyond me, and I couldn't find a tutorial online for it. But this I found the directions, and it was free, and all of the measurements and all of that. So this is what I made her. It's probably got thread on it now because I've been having it sit in my sewing room. And I did a little crossbody bag, and it has a great, I can't remember, soft and stable is what they call it. Really good directions. It's got a depth to it, not bad for me. It looks pretty good. It's got a zipper and a lined pocket in front, and it has a pocket here too that she can slide her sketchbooks into that has a little magnetic closure, and kind of a recessed zipper. So I'd never done that kind of zipper treatment before, where it has these kind of flaps on the side. And that was the Tula Pink. So this is all Tula Pink is the name of the designer of the fabric. And that was the same line. And then the inside just has pockets. And there we go. And it turned out pretty good. She loves it. And it has an adjustable handle, so you can make it go longer to go across the body when you want to have it be a little bit more secure, or you can shrink it up if you just want to put it over your shoulder. So great tutorial, and I think it turned out great. Like I said, she loved it. So there it is. And I did just a little bit of straight quilting on the back. One more finish that I had this month, and this is something, oh gosh, I don't even know where the chart is now. It's buried. If I find it, I'll pull it out for you. Yes, here it is. So I've been working on this one for a while. Finally got this one done. I was just kind of nibbling away at it, and I finally finished it. This is by Traditional Samplers. I got this on Teresa Vanette Kitten Stitcher's site. She had old new stock, I think, and I used all my own threads. I've talked about that before, So I just kind of pulled things out, and that is my finish. So yeah, the threads, I just kind of pulled out what I thought was close to the picture. And I think it's pretty good. Not bad as far as like the hue of the color. And I have all kinds of things. I've got overdyed cottons, I've got silks, and this is on 40 Count Dusty Road by Seraphim, which is just a beautiful fabric. I have to say the 40 count is still kind of hard for me. I still have to for sure have it magnification, and my glasses that help me see, magnifiers, my readers. There she is. And so yeah, it's kind of an odd size. It's about a 1/2 inch difference in height and width. So it will fit into an 8x8 frame, but it won't look perfect. So I might just display it that way for a little bit. And then when I come across a frame that I think is perfect for it, I'll bite the bullet and get that. But that's where I am with that. That is that finish. Woohoo! Okay, so let me see. What else am I close on here? Really close on another Hands Across the Sea. This is Jessie Watson. This was for Barbara Raspberry Stitcher started a sal for this in April for Autism Awareness Month. And so she broke it all down. She has it on her Instagram. So if you're interested, you can still find this. This is a PDF I just downloaded. I got the silks from Victoria Clayton, which I believe she still has on her site. And it's a silk pack, very affordable. I think it was in the 30 something range. They're really beautiful silks. And look at all the silk I have left over. I'm almost done with this, by the way. So I don't have this off the frame because I have it sewn onto my scroll rods. So I'm just going to kind of unroll it for you and see if I can maneuver it that way. So there's the top. And that's my progress. So what I have left to do on this is simply the border down this way and across the bottom, just that gold straight part. My goal for this was really to get the heart completed by the end of December, just because there's so many things I want to start, and I wanted to kind of take that part of it off my plate and focus in on that and get that done, which I love. I think these silks turned out great for that kind of treatment. I did a 16 count leg, 16 count eyelets, 16 leg eyelets. So they're a little bit more thread heavy. And I also, I've talked about that before, I double crossed my red on the house. So I said, like I said before, the first leg of the stitch happens, and then the second leg of the cross stitch happens twice. So that just makes the red pop a little bit more. It's hard to really tell in the light, but boy, it sure looks pretty in natural light. Soft, the softness of some of the colors, and then the pop of the red. Cannot wait to get this framed. Again, it's kind of long. It's an odd size, so I don't know when I'm going to get it framed, but I'm probably going to have to take this in and have it professionally framed, or lace it up myself and get the frame made for it. So there is my Jessie Watson. Really enjoy doing that with everybody that is doing that sal. That has been so much fun to see people's progress, and it's really, that's why I love the sals. It made me get it done by the end of the year. That was not the intention, but that's where I took it, and I'm really, really happy to have 2 Hands Across the Sea completed in 1 year, because I did Ann Morrison, which I've already shown her. I haven't had her framed yet, but that's on the menu at some point when I win the lottery. Yeah. So let's see here. I'm going to plow on. Again, I've done this once. I've rambled on about things, so I'm trying to be a little bit more organized here. And I found the thread that I lost last time, so that's good news. Oh, righty then. So out of this book, in that Christmas spirit, is Home for the Holidays. And I bought this because I wanted to do Christmas garden, which I'm going to show you in a second here. But inside of here is also Blessings Be Thine, which I found a copy of, just that alone in the thrift store. And I thought, whoa, I found this. And I posted it on Instagram, and Kim Goldman, the Contented Stitcher, said, hey, you know that's in Home for the Holidays. And I said, I overlooked it because I was going straight for Christmas garden, which, let me pull that up, the picture. There's our Christmas garden. A lot of people are, you'd think I would have turned that off. It's done. Okay. All right, I've been up here rambling for a while. Okay, there's Christmas garden. Isn't it beautiful? I wish I would have done it just like that, but I didn't. I chose to do my own way. So I kitted it up with flosses that I just thought were pretty. I think I just like went into the I think I was in Kelsey's Needlework in Placerville, and I was looking at floss like it was a candy store. And so I picked out the things I thought were really pretty, which they are. They're beautiful. So, but the only thing I'm regretting is this yellow. It's a pretty, you know, it's called Queen Bee. So it's yellow. I don't know why I thought it would look gold, but it's yellow, which is fine. And I had originally got, the called for is Classic Colorworks Fool's Gold, which on my fabric, which is a 36 count vintage pearled barley, didn't look, it was just disappearing completely. So I decided to do the Queen Bee. You've heard me talk, if you've watched me, you've heard me talk that I have mixed feelings about this. I'm not really loving the contrast really of the really bright yellow against all these other colors, but I'm going for it. I've got it going, and I kind of feel like I'm going to push on. I'm just kind of editing now. I may go back in and maybe change some of that. I don't know yet, but for now I'm adding it here and there. I'm just not going to be doing quite as much. So yeah, I call this the Charlie Brown sweater urn. And so I got that done. I got the little Christmas tree completed. I got all of this row, that border, and I'm working across, and then I'm going to go up, and I'm just going to kind of play with the yellow. If I really, really can't stand it, I'll take it out of the top snowflakes and use the DMC 420, which is, mine is a Victorian motto 420, which it's very close. It's got a tiny little bit less of a, it looks a little bit more variegated, but not much. Anyway, that's where I am on that. And I've been working quite a bit on that. Well, not quite a bit. I've been kind of rotating at night. That's kind of my sit in front of the TV and stitch kind of a thing. Okay, on that note, I have one, so Kim the Contented Stitcher and Merritt Crawford. I love Merritt Crawford. She's so calm, and you know, if I could be organized, that's how I would want to be organized. She just seems so calm, and like she approaches things from such a really sane way of looking at life, and she's got a good spirit. So they are doing all of these Blackbird Designs stockings, and they're not mini. So this is the mini. So Kim the Contented Stitcher and Merritt Crawford are doing these stockings from this book as well. And I believe they start in January. So I wanted to jump on that sale and do them as well. So I rifled through my fabric, and I found a 35 count Zweigart that I overdyed. So I think it was white, and I overdyed it with coffee. I just did a little test to see how I would like the cranberry. Did I already lose it again? I found it in the mail. Oh, here it is. It's cranberry by Classic Color Works Belsois, so it's a silk. It's really pretty, and I tend to go for it quite a bit. I think I've used it in, oh, that's in Christmas Garden too. So I have a big enough piece of this that I can do at least 4 of the stockings, and there are 5 in the book. So I clearly know how to do this. So how I dyed this is I got it all wet and I put it into a Tupperware, and I dumped a bunch of coffee grounds on top of it and poured a little bit of coffee over the top of it, and I left it outside in the sun for 3 days. We'd go out and shake it periodically, and then I brought it back in and rinsed it off, and that's how it turned out. Most of the coffee actually rinses out. So I know how to do it, and if I need to do another piece and have all 5 stockings match that, I can do that. But I'm excited to start that with them. They're both wonderful, lovely ladies, and I'm looking forward to doing another stitch along, and it's nice to have that on my plans. You know, before I get much further, because I talked about this when I just filmed this, and I have forgotten to talk about it. So Book of Days. So we've got 2022, obviously 2022 Book of Days coming up. And one of the things that I wanted to do, and I'll talk a little bit more in depth about that, is WIPGO. So if you follow people that do this, it's kind of like bingo, but for stitching, and you can have any kind of projects you want in there. It doesn't have to be all cross stitch. It could be quilting. It could be, oh, I don't know, gardening, whatever project, whatever you want to make progress on. So Jessie Marie Does Stuff has a really great video where she explains it, because I didn't really understand the concept of it. And she just posted a video about 3 weeks ago where she explains it. I watched it yesterday, and then this morning I had my husband make this chart for me so that I can handwrite in. I'm doing it very low tech. I'm handwriting in things with pencil, so I can erase the projects if I get to it, and let's say I don't want to finish a Blackbird stocking on the day that that number is drawn, I will write something else in. Anyway, so I'm excited to have another tool to push me along and get me to pick things up that you know, even to do. I don't think I have as many projects as a lot of people. I've really only been back at stitching for about 5 years now into the cross stitching. So I cross stitched, like I said before, in the 80s, but I put it down and didn't really pick it up again. But since I picked it up, I've been obsessed. So this will help me really focus in on some of the things that I really want to finish. And in order to finish them, they've got to be on my rotation. So I've never really done that before. I've never really been a person that wants to follow a rigid outline of what I want to work on. I just want to pick things up when I feel like it. And I think there's a little bit of that worked into my plan anyway. So what she does is she picks 2 numbers a month. And so for each one of those numbers, you do whatever that project and goal is. So for most of my projects, it's work on that piece for 5 days. Well, you do that twice. That's 10 days of stitching. I stitch a lot more than 10 days in a month. So there's a lot of wiggle room in there for me to do other projects and to, you know, but I have to commit for 5 days. And when I say 5 days, that's usually I'm stitching for an hour at a time. Not all the time. And it doesn't matter. If I pick it up and work on it for 5 minutes, then I worked on it for that day. So anyway, I'm learning more about WIPGO, and I will link that video below if you're interested. And we'll see if I keep up with it. I'm hoping I do. Okay, so let me move on. So in that mode, so all of these things that I'm showing you are going on my WIPGO board, and that goes for the whole year. So that just means that that number might, you know, this project might pop up during the year, but most likely I'm working on all these projects whenever I feel like it anyway. So this was my Christmas Day start. So this was my first time starting something on Christmas Day. I got this kit from Hobby House Needleworks, and this is a special exclusive to Hobby House from Hands Across the Sea. And I got the DMC, and I got the, let me say what it is. It is 36 count antique lace linen by Seraphim Fabrics, and this is Rose Ada Featherstone by Hands Across the Sea. And these are my DMC. Oh, again, I think I showed you the back of it again. That's the front. And a tiny start. So I started at Christmas. I think I worked on it maybe, since then I worked on it an hour, you know, after that. Just to kind of stay on track, I came down this way. I think I started the wrong orientation on my fabric. So this margin over here is about 2 inches, which I think it was supposed to be. Pretty sure it was supposed to be the other way, but it's going to fit. And these are the flosses. There's my Susan Stanley floss drop. Love her. And you know, the thing about these colors, you know, I try to change colors sometimes and I regret it. So this color right here, I was not sure about that color. I thought, ooh, that's kind of like really, really vibrant melon color. It's supposed to be medium apricot, because I got DMC, not silk. But so I thought, well, maybe I'll just get that silk. But then I thought, you know, just come on, push on, and let's get some floss on your fabric and see how it looks. And I absolutely love it. It is gorgeous. That Nicola Parkman, boy, does she know what she's talking about. She knows what she's doing. That is so pretty. So that's about the representation, I think, of that fabric. It's got a warmth to it, and nice modeling. It's not over the top, but it's definitely got a warmth, and it's so pretty. So I'm excited about that one. That's on my WIPGO board, and yeah, it's definitely doable. And that is the other chart that's in there. So woohoo! And that's in that bag I made with the Kathy Holden fabric. I love Kathy Holden. She's got new fabric coming out, I think, soon. I just luck out when I find it in the store, and I have a bunch of it that I need to make more project bags. So that's on my WIPGO board, right? Is making project bags. I need to do more of that this year. Okay, so there's that one. Let's put that there. Move stuff out of the way. Okay, let's move on here. So this one is And Flat. So this is by Modern Folk Embroidery. And I've got the PDF because I wanted instant gratification. So I got it, and I immediately said, I think I've done enough alphabets this year. So boop, down it went. So I just kind of figured out how to do the border without the alphabet. And I kind of regret, I'm in the alphabet. It's beautiful. It's really pretty. I'm using the called for DMCs, and that's where I am. So I got the border to meet up. Yay. And I'm just kind of going across the bottom there, and I'm going to work my way back up. This is a 36 count Wild Honey by Access Commodities. I love this fabric. It's, you know, if you've not worked on linen before, this is a great linen to try. You can get it in different counts. It is just so evenly woven. It's not, it doesn't feel like it has a lot of slubbing. It's got a good texture to it. It's easy to hold, easy to see the holes in it. So I'm enjoying and flat. And that's kind of one of my sewing room, sneak up to my sewing room and do things. Somebody's outside. My husband's probably outside going, I thought you already filmed. I did, but I didn't have my microphone on. Okie dokie, let's move on really quick here. So this is Oh Joyous Day. There it is. Okay, so this is Blackbird Designs. A lot of people are working on this right now. It's been kind of pick up, put down for me. I really love it though, and that is definitely gonna get picked up a lot more this year. And that's where I am on it. So I moved down the side and started to go across the bottom. I just want to make sure I'm on track because I made a little mistake up there that I need to redo. One of the things I wanted to figure out how to do, because I haven't really done, I've done a lot of satin stitch and embroidery, but I've not done counted satin stitching. So I wanted to figure out how to do that. So I started across there. But because I do this mostly in Q-snaps, until I put this on a scroll rod of some kind, I don't want to do the satin stitch until I'm done, but I think I am going to do it. I originally thought, well, I'll just do cross stitches, but I kind of like the way the satin, I definitely love the way the satin stitches look. I love it. And these are the called for flosses. This is really like the worst ever floss display, but they're beautiful, beautiful colors. 36 count legacy linen by Picture This Plus. Beautiful modeling. Warm, beautiful. It's going to be gorgeous. So that one is going to get a lot more attention this year. I said that. I think I said it a couple months ago. I'm going to finish that. I am going to finish it. I'll finish it someday. Okay. I think one more whip here. No, it's not one more whip, but I have another whip. This one is Mary G. Ramage by Hands Across the Sea. Again, one of those little gems. And I am doing this one on, let me tell you the fabric. Oh, it's hand dyed by Stephanie, Toasted Almond, 36 count. Really pretty. Again, it's got a really good model to it. It's not over the top. I'm doing this with the called for DMC, but I did change out the gold. Let me show you. Really beautiful colors. Again, bright. I love the bright. So pretty. I did change out, this gold was more of a, do I have it in here? It's more of a, I think what was called for was this, which is more orangey to me, which I'm sure is beautiful. But I wanted it to look kind of like a gold picture frame. So that's why I substituted that color, which is 3820. And so, yeah, I did the little kettle on the fire there, and I went across, and I've been working on the house, which is pink, and I love a pink house. So I'm excited to get that one done. You know, it's probably the year of Hands Across the Sea for me in 2022. I've got a lot of them that I'm working on and want to do. Speaking of which, this is something I got for Christmas. I had to get it. Yes, I bought it for myself and I put it in my stocking. Well, my husband wrapped it up actually and put it under the tree for me. I don't have it kitted yet. I absolutely love this. I couldn't not. So that'll get started at some point this year, but I don't have it ready to go at all. Okay, so one more. Oh, okay, one more. This one, Anne Uffendale, which is I already know going to be coming out in January because she's on my WIPGO board and was drawn. So she's going to get 5 days in January for sure. I'm doing this with all of the silks that I got from the attic. And let me pull her up. She's on my scroll rod. This is, what's it called? I always forget. I'll remember in a second. Here it is. Roller frame. Roller frames you can get at, they have little nails in them that bite your fabric. You can get them at, I think Needle in a Haystack in Alameda, California, I believe has them. You can Google roller frame and there's different shops that carry them. They're a little hard to find, but you can find them still. Yeah, so that's where I am on it. Not a lot of progress, but that little bit right there. And I'm going to work across the bottom. So my plan for January is to get that green grass all the way across. That's what I'm hoping to at least get that part done, and then start to build up from the bottom and fill some flowers in. So I might like work on the grass for a day and then go do a flower the next day around the border. But oh, she's beautiful. 36 count vintage pearled barley by Lakeside. Love it. So yeah, it's a big girl. She's a big girl. So I keep her all rolled up, keep her clean and keep her safe while until she comes back out to get stitched on again. So yeah, she'll come out pretty soon, but I'm going to show you another one that I'm actually going to be starting on New Year's Day, which I think a lot of people are starting. You probably already know. Okay, so let's see. All right, let's talk about what I'm going to start. So in my book of days, I'm going to be writing down on January 1st, like a lot of people, I'm going to be starting the big birthday sale with Brenda and Laura for Laura's big birthday. So I love Laura, and I know a lot of people do. And so I am starting Elizabeth Isles. So here's my plan, my loose plan, I think, my loose plan. And I've said before, you know, I really love this chart. What really drew me to the chart was the angel border, and I love the angel border. Stephanie, who's already completed it, I'll put it across here, did a beautiful job of changing up the skin tones and the hair colors and all the colors. She just made it really colorful, which I really love. But I loved the angels to begin with. I just think the concept of an angel border, plus the 18th century, I love. This is late 18th century, but it's under the wire, kind of like me with this video. But I'm not really, I don't know. I like the bird, but I'm not really crazy. I don't know what it is about that. But I did want to stay, if I replace that motif, I did want to stay with something from the 18th century. So, because Laura Duet is a Dutch beauty, and I have Dutch beauty, and I most likely will never start or complete the whole thing, I might pick a motif out of this and substitute it in the bird. And I think also Kim Goldman, Kim, are you starting? I think she's starting this in January. So I could pick out one of the motifs, and I'm thinking the deer, because we have a lot of deer where we live, and you know, I would love a sampler that had a deer on it, but I don't know that I have anything that has a deer on it necessarily, like that deer. I love that deer. I could put little doodads around it. I think I did the math right. I think it might fit in that space. So I'll play around with that. If it doesn't work, you know, I'll be doing the bird, because I do have all of the called for DMC. I went to the store and got the DMC. I also have Stephanie Almond M&Ms. She has graciously dyed some beautiful silks so we can play around with colors on the angels and give them a diversity. Yeah, so I played around with this blue. I'm not sure. I really like it, but I might go just a hair less intense. I pulled that blue that it calls for in the DMC, but I just wasn't happy with it, so I thought I wanted it to pop a little bit more. And the fabric that I have for it, I've got two options. This is kind of my first choice, is the 36 count Picture This Plus Sand, which has quite a bit of variegation, a lot of modeling in it. But I think the colors look really good on it. I think it might look really pretty. My other option is the other piece of Hand Dyed by Stephanie Toasted Almond, 36 count. And that is a beautiful choice as well. So I don't know, there might be something else that I want to do with this particular piece of linen, but it does look really close to the original. So still, I have a day to mull this over, but I have to say I'm leaning hard towards this. So we shall see. I will be starting that day after tomorrow. Ooh, so I'm sure I'll post on Instagram like a lot of people. Okay, that's that. All right, this one I don't have kitted up, but this is definitely going on my WIPGO board, and I will be starting this year. I don't know that I'll complete this. We'll see how I do. I tend to have an issue, and it's not the chart's fault, with Blackbird Design borders. I always get off on them, but this one looks like it's pretty straightforward. So I have to get the called for colors. I've learned my lesson. And actually, I think the sand would look really good. Oh, not the sand, the almond, the toasted almond would look really good with this. Yeah. Right? Don't you think? So I think I just made that choice. Okay, so, which is good. Another one I'm going to start, but let's see what. This is Mill on the Floss. I love this so much. From the moment Nicola Parkman showed this on her floss tube, her friend Stephanie, I believe, from Mill on the Floss, Stacy? I'm bad. You'd think, since I've done this before, I'd have this all figured out. Anyway, Mill on the Floss, I love her charts, and this one is just absolutely jaw-dropping beautiful. I pulled 36 count Vintage Maritime White, gorgeous fabric, and I also have an assortment of DMC that I pulled as well. You can see I'm not ready to start it yet. I have to kind of really nail down the colors. And go from there. But yeah, I think that will look really pretty. It's so gorgeous. I have this in my Dragonfly project bag. Yes, project bags are definitely on the menu. I need to make more of those because I have a lot of great fabric I need to utilize. Okay. What else do I have? I think I've showed you everything. I think I've showed you all my whips and all my future plans, immediate plans. Okay. All right, 44 minutes, not so bad. Okay, so considering I've done this once before. Okay, I wanted to talk about this book. So this is just some extra. It's not really terribly stitching related. Now, you know that I'm really into, well, I don't know if you know, but if you've watched me before, you know I'm into historical fashion. And clearly, a lot of the projects that I'm drawn to have a lot of historical base around them. The samplers, I love the story behind them. I love to think of the year that they were stitched in. It's very interesting to me. One of my favorite people to watch is Susan Stanley, who talks about the history of different colors and sewing notions and the different aspects of you know, quilting or you know, through history and what things mean. So that, to me, I love it. It's like putting all the puzzle pieces together. I was never really great in history, which unfortunately my dad was really perplexed by. He was a historian, and there was really no question that I could have asked him he would not have been able to find the answer to. And this is before Google. This is, just he knew a lot of things about history, but it didn't really captivate me until I looked at it from a different perspective, how people live. And specifically how women live in history was interesting to me. Why the dresses were as wide as they were, why chairs were made the way they were to accommodate those dresses, and who was empowered dictated the fashion. So, it wasn't, for me, I was like, oh, why do I have to learn about another battle? Well, because that's who gets to say what we wear and how we live. And anyway, so this book, let me see if I can sum this up quickly. I went to a symposium in Williamsburg, Virginia, back when I was really into historical costuming. It was all about accessories, and so one of the lectures was on textiles of the 18th century. And basically in London, there is something called the Foundling Museum in the 18th century, mid-18th century. It was started, and it was a place for impoverished, usually women, to bring a baby or a small child for them to take in and educate. Usually they would go into service in a service position in a home, something like that, or a trade. And the way it worked was a woman would take in her child. If she was lucky, she won the lottery, she would be able to have them adopt her child, basically. Temporarily was the idea. So she would take in a scrap of fabric or a piece of ribbon or something, and she would give them half of that, and they would pin on to the child's blanket or diaper this piece of fabric or ribbon or embroidery or whatever, and she would take the other half home with her. And theoretically, when things got better, she would be able to come back and reclaim her child. That almost never got to happen. There were usually people did not get out of the deep hole they were in and be able to have the means to come back and give their child a better life than what these people were able to give the child. So let me just read a little bit about this to you and explain to you why I'm so captivated with this for stitching. When mothers left their babies at London's Foundling Hospital in the mid-18th century, the hospital often retained a small token as a means of identification, usually a piece of fabric. These swatches of fabric now form Britain's largest collection of everyday textiles from the 18th century. They include a whole range of fabrics worn by ordinary women, along with ribbons, embroidery, and even some baby clothes. Both beautiful and poignant. Every scrap of material reflects the life of a single infant child and that of its absent parent. So I just wanted to show you. Okay, so there's one of the scraps. So the thing that really turns me on about this is the scraps of fabric being closed up in a book for so long never were exposed to the elements, and so are almost in perfect condition, as they were the day that they were cut off, the piece of fabric or the piece of clothing. So they have a really great represent, and these are everyday people. So these are not, wealthy. Now they might have been people that came down in life a little bit and maybe had came from a place of means and lost that, and so they had. Look at that. That talk about French general. Look at that red, gorgeous. But I don't think of, when I think of historical fashion for everyday people in the 18th century, I certainly don't think of these beautiful, beautiful colors. You tend to think of people that are working class people, not polka dots, right? I don't think of polka dots in the 18th century. And there's some pretty colors, pretty flowers. And a lot of these are printed calicos, right? That was readily available to every walk of life back then. So there's just a little picture of what some of the clothing would have looked like. So 18th century, so we're talking, 1750s. So a little bit earlier than the Scarlet Letter, Elizabeth Isles, that we're about to embark on. There's some pretty ribbon. I can just see the mom folding it to look like that. Oh, there's one more. Oh, this one. Okay, I'm going to start crying. So, I mean, look at that embroidery, the cross-stitch sampler. How bright and colorful it was. Yeah, I mean, she pinned this onto her child to say, this one's special. Pay attention to this one. This one's precious. I mean, they're all precious, but the love. Somebody probably embroidered that to go with her child. Anyway, I'm going to get all... Oh, hey, Kim, that's for you. Look at the bird. Aren't those pretty? So, Threads of Feeling, I believe you can get this on Amazon. I'll try and link it if you're interested. It's not a ton of text, but it's a very fascinating story. I was lucky enough to get to go to that museum when I was in London with my husband and on vacation, and it was just amazing to me. So there's my little extra, yes, 52 minutes. Okay, so let me wrap it all up and say thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing and coming back. I really am happy to have returning viewers, and if you're new, thanks for stopping by and giving me a look. So I wish you all the best things in the new year, and I will be filming. I'll be making another video before January is out, hopefully with some good progress on my Elizabeth Isles that I can share. So again, thank you for making videos. For all of you that make videos, you don't know what you mean to me. You're like my good friends, and to all of you that post on Instagram, oh my gosh, I love you all. And for anybody that comments, I really appreciate that, and love this community, love you all, and many blessings for 2022. Bye everybody, you guys take care.